In all the time you've spent hunting down the perfect set of wheels, you've definitely come across the terms hub-centric and lug-centric. And if you're like most enthusiasts, you're probably thought to yourself, what does that even mean? We're glad you asked, because today we're going to break down these two terms and explain why the internet loves arguing about them and help you understand whether it's actually something you need to worry about when buying a new or used set of wheels. If you pull the wheel off your car and take a look at the hub, you know, the part sticking out at the brake rotor where the wheel mounts up, you'll notice that raised little circular lip right there in the center. That little lip serves a purpose. So a hub-centric wheel is designed so the center bore of that wheel fits snugly over that lip. When you slide that wheel onto the car, the hub helps center the wheel before even tightening the lug nuts. Simple enough. So let's talk about lug-centric wheels. With this setup, the wheel isn't centered by the hub at all. Instead, it's centered by the lug nuts themselves as you tighten them. The tapered seat on the lug nut helps to pull that wheel into its rightful position as you torque them down. And really, that's the whole difference between the two. Hub-centric is centered by the hub and lug-centric is centered by the lug nuts. Now here's where the argument begins. A lot of enthusiasts assume that hub-centric automatically means safer, stronger, and somehow better. But that's not exactly true. One of the biggest misconceptions about this is that the hub carries the weight of the vehicle. In reality, once the wheel is properly installed and torqued, the clamping force created by the lug nuts is what keeps everything secure. The hub's job is to primarily help locate and center the wheel during installation, and contrary to what you may think, it is not acting as a shelf to hold up the car. Off the record, imagine if it actually did. You placing all your hopes and dreams on this much metal. You can't support the weight of the vehicle on that. Most aftermarket wheel manufacturers, including us here at KONIG, design wheels with larger center bores so they can fit a wider variety of vehicles. Instead of making a completely different casting for every single application, one wheel can be adapted to fit multiple cars. The trade-off here is that the center bore may be larger than your vehicle's hub, and in fact, it usually is. That's where those inexpensive, very handy-dandy hub-centric rings come into play. Hub-centric rings fill the gap between the wheel's center bore and the vehicle's hub diameter. Their purpose is simply to help center the wheel during installation. They are not adding strength or carrying the vehicle's weight, which is why you can find them made out of metal or plastic. They're simply helping to ensure that that wheel goes on perfectly centered before you cinch those lug nuts in place. Here's where a lot of vibration issues happen. Let's say you're installing a wheel and you tighten everything while the wheel is hanging slightly off center. Even if the wheel and tire are perfectly balanced, you may end up with a vibration at highway speeds because the wheel isn't mounted concentrically. And again, the hub-centric ring can make installation easier and help prevent that situation entirely, especially for daily driven cars where a smooth ride really matters. Now let's answer the question that most everyone asks, do I need hub-centric rings? If your wheel's center bore already matches the vehicle's hub exactly, then you don't need a ring, because the wheel is already hub-centric. And if you're dealing with a true lug-centric application designed that way from the start, proper installation and correct torque procedures become even more important. So what's the takeaway? The key is making sure that the wheel is installed correctly, torqued properly, and centered accurately, regardless of the style it relies on. Quick disclaimer, so we spoke about hub-centric versus lug-centric. We need to basically say that there's no such thing as lug-centric.
No, 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 no. No! Hell no!
The reason the term lug-centric exists is because going back in time, we would originally center the wheels using the tapered lug nut seats. However, at the time, the idea was not to center the wheel on the hub, but rather to use the lugs to do the centering themselves. Hub-centricity is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
And if your aftermarket wheels have a larger center bore than your vehicle's hub, that simple hub-centric ring can make installation process a lot easier and avoid vibration. If you've got wheel fitment questions you'd like us to cover in future videos, let us know in the comments below. You can also reach us at fitment@konigwheels.com. I'm Nick with KONIG. Catch you on the next one.